We are the Morning Hustle.
What's good, y'all? It's the Morning Hustle with L'Oreal and Kyle Santillian. And as you know, we got all the guests pulling up on us, man. We got to rotate and door. The best people slide through. And today, this young lady, she has made her mark in this industry, whether it's been music, movies, acting. She's pretty much an icon for our people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Miss Paula Patton is here.
Yay!
I'm great, thank you.
Yeah,
what
thanks.
a wonderful intro.
Come
You
on,
have
man.
the best energy too, so you just
absolutely.
like you prep me up a lot. So now I'm sitting up in my chair. I was over here slouched down. You helped me. You saved me now.
Yeah, man.
And you've been saved too with this
That's right.
inspirational film.
I
Let's
have
go.
been a bit. I have.
Finding Faith is the movie. It comes out June 16th.
And 17th only in
Okay,
theaters. You
talk
have to
about
go
it.
and see it. June 16th and 17th.
And we talked, and Lo just said it, just about finding faith, and it's basically a faith-based movie.
It is.
It is.
It's a faith-based movie. And I got to tell you guys how it came to me, because that's kind of the miracle, is that it came to me on this day where, before this day, I had a terrible, challenging thing that had come in my life, right? And I had to deal with it. And then I had all this kind of fear and anxiety that was going on in my life. And I woke up that morning, though, and I meditated and I prayed, and I just said, you know what? I'm done. I can't feel like this anymore. I'm like, God, I give it to you. I said, I'm going to walk this week as if everything out is working out in my favor, right? I just said week by week, I'm just going to do this. And I was just so peaceful. I felt like I really let it go, right? I went to yoga, and then I came back home, and I got a phone call from my friend and neighbor, Charles Porter. And he said, Paula, I have a script for you, and it's called Finding Faith. And I about dropped that phone on all the days.
That is
Right.
crazy.
On all the days. It was as if God had heard me and said,
did.
here,
Yeah.
when you relinquish control and you do walk in faith, look what shows up.
That's a fact,
Yeah.
man. That is definitely
And the
a fact.
movie is very touching. It touches on a whole lot of different topics, and it'll tear you up a little bit as well, because you see that the troubles that you went through, your character went through. And like you said, we're so used to seeing you like in a romantic comedy or like action film.
Yeah.
So this is the first time we're seeing you in like a faith-based movie, but you, girl, you did that.
Oh.
You did that. You did your thing in here. So is there anything with the character that you could relate to?
Yeah, there was a lot. So, I mean, literally, when I got that script, on the title alone, I was like, I know I'm doing it. Just
Right.
because the timing of it. But then I read it, and there was a lot about it that I could connect to, because this woman, she when she finds herself in this challenging time, she then turns to alcohol and drugs,
Yes.
And it's her way of finding herself out of it. And 7 years ago, I got sober. And so I was like, I understand this journey. I know what it is to not have faith and then find it and have to walk that path and walk a path where it feels as if for a while, like, everything feels like it's going wrong, right?
Yeah.
And you really had to, and really, like, the book of Job really helped get me through, where no matter what came my way, I just kept going, God, thank you for your favor. God, thank you for your favor.
That'd be me.
Yeah, man.
and that's what helped push me through. And because it's a weird thing, when you take the path, a different path, when you decide to take that other path, it isn't as if everything then just gets easy.
Right.
It actually asks you to look at yourself, and suddenly all the masks that I wore had to fall away, and all the things that fed my ego fell away. And so I had to walk sort of in the desert, in the valley, not the valley of LA, but like in the actual valley by myself.
Yeah.
And find my way back. So there was, and that's what this character has to do.
And you've
did
been
you
very
know-
public
okay.
just about, your journey with sobriety and things
Yeah.
like that. You said it's been 7 years?
7 years.
Because I feel like every Sunday morning after drinking Saturday night, I say I'm going to do the same thing. So was there a time, like, what was it in that particular moment 7 years ago that really pushed you to be, this is going to be the time I'm going to turn this around? Versus maybe times in the past you may have said it but didn't do it.
I had done moments
Yeah.
where I'd stopped for a few months, what have you. This really felt like divine intervention. I got to tell you, because it was weird. I remember this like it was yesterday. I was looking outside my backyard, and I was about to go to London to do a movie, and it was going to take me away from my son. And it was 2 days before I was supposed to leave. And I just went, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this. I knew it in my heart, something. because I was like, I want to make his lunches and I want to go on field trips. And so I said I couldn't do it. And I burned a lot of bridges. You can imagine. People were not happy with me. But I chose my life. And in that moment, though, I said, if I do something like this, then that means, Paula, you have to stop. Like, you can't drink anymore. I don't know what it was, you guys. It's still wild to this day. I just was like, that's it. You're done. And it wasn't that it was easy, right? But something just kept pushing me forward that I stopped.
Yeah.
I was talking about this with one of my friends because he just said that he's cutting off a bunch of things for a year. He said no alcohol, no meat, no sex. But the problem is he still has people around him that's trying to be like, oh, come on, bro, just take one shot. It's just one. You'll be all right. Or just, come on, let's go talk to these girls or whatever. So did you have a point where you had to maybe look at your circle or people that was around you and be like, all right, did you have a conversation with them or maybe cut anyone off?
Yeah, you know what? And I'll tell this to people. It's a mixture. Some people, I realized I was like, I can't really go to the club anymore.
Yeah, because what are you
like,
gonna
there's
do?
certain
Watch
things I can't
people.
do. But sometimes people just leave your life, and it can be quite painful, but you have to trust that that's because it's not working in your favor, right? But you do have to be careful at the beginning, right? How your life is, where you are, because it can be, you're very vulnerable and it looks really appetizing. Getting through the first Thanksgiving, my family likes to party.
Right.
So they're like, you're not going to have a tequila with us? What's going on? I had to go in the bathroom, pray and get through it. But you get through one Thanksgiving, one Christmas, then it comes 2, 3, and then now I can serve people drinks. I can go out. Mimi was with me when I went to my first club again in New Orleans. I was dancing, having a good time, and I didn't need anything.
Nice, that's good.
But at the beginning, I do think you need to be quite precious with yourself. And that means you might not be able to hang with the same folks and do the same thing.
The good thing is these kids got these mocktails. What are they called?
Mocktails.
Oh my goodness, I see them everywhere. But I'm like, that's a whole lot of juice y'all are drinking for $15 juices.
Right.
You get your sugar high.
Yeah.
You know what? Sometimes, listen, when I go out now, I have a shot of espresso.
I've seen it on a whole nother level now where they have Christian nightclubs where they don't serve any alcohol and they play all faith-based music.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So maybe that could be a spot for you to
Would you go to that kind of club?
I would, absolutely. Because you know what? We made an opinion in our head about what that means or doesn't mean, but I want to be lifted up right now.
Yeah.
I want to walk in hope and you have to be careful sometimes. Listen, I love it all. I love all kinds of music, but it's nice to be in a place where it's all about inspiring folks.
Yeah,
you know what's crazy? Glorilla just won for the best gospel song, and there's a lot of gospel folks that's upset about that. But I'm like, that sounds like a good song to add in the club.
I agree with you.
Yeah, because
I think being judgmental is the opposite of what being Christian is about.
Twerk for Jesus if you want.
We see some of that.
Do what you got to do.
No, what did he
Enjoy
say?
your life.
Right.
He said twerk for
He said pump it for Jesus. What did he say? Kirk Franklin
I don't remember the
and Kevin Hart.
exact quote.
I can't remember what he said. You don't remember Elton?
No, did he say that? Oh my God.
Never mind. Elton. This is why Elton's not allowed.
Going back to the movie real quick, there were some scenes in there, without giving too much of the movie away for the people that haven't seen it.
Yes.
But I thought one of the things was kind of interesting. The friction that you had, what your character has with your mother-in-law.
Yeah.
And kind of the ease it has with her father-in-law. You know what I mean? And there was a scene in there about whether or not, and I'm going to just talk about this part, whether or not you would call your in-laws mom or dad. You know what I mean? Where, like on a personal note, where are you with that? Because when I watch that, I call my father-in-law by his name.
Oh,
By
interesting.
like I don't do the mom and dad thing. I'm like, hey, I still do the Mr. and Mrs.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
And it's really weird because I felt the same way as your character did. I almost felt like, well, I know it's not meant to be, but I almost felt like I would be disrespecting my father.
Oh, interesting.
Really?
Yeah, kind of.
You think so?
Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, do you have some of the same personal thoughts on
I
that?
hadn't thought about that. You know what? I haven't been married for a moment, but when I was, I didn't call them mom or dad, but I did feel really close to them.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
guess, it's about the family we choose versus what is our biological family.
Right.
And it was the first time it really was brought to my attention was this film. But I think it's important to this character because she really doesn't feel accepted by them. And so it's the journey of how that love evolves. So
Okay.
you have to watch the movie to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you mentioned not being married for a while.
Yes.
Okay. So one thing I remember at one point was that it seemed as though your ex-husband, obviously Robin Thicke, he didn't want to let you go. And you were pretty adamant on saying that you were finally done with the situation. What was like the breaking point for you?
Oh gosh, you know what, L'Oreal? It's not worth talking about.
Okay.
Because you know what? All that matters now is the love.
Yeah.
Do you know, it really is true. Like, all that matters is the love that was there, and that love never dies.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just get to a place where you just not supposed to be together anymore. But we had a lot of great times together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I met that man when I was 15 years old, and we had a great love affair, and we have an incredible son.
I didn't realize 15
I
is
was
when y'all
15.
met?
He was my
That's
first and only man that I know.
Wow.
So, like, you know what? In my healing, you have to get to the place where you can forgive and also forgive yourself.
Yeah.
And then also only look for the love.
Yeah.
That's all I do.
Yeah.
I just look for the love and know that, at the end of it all, we're going to see each other and you're going to hug them and you're going to be like, I love you so much. I love you so
Yeah.
much too, because what we do on earth and how we are with each other isn't going to be how it is when we go into the next phase.
Well, one thing
Does
I
that
do
make
know is
sense?
that you used to write songs together.
We sure did.
Could that ever collaborate again on a song, or you not doing that? 'Cause
I don't know
You
if
wrote
it'd
some
be-
good songs.
We did. You know what? I loved writing music with Robin. It was so much fun. We would wake up in the morning, go to the studio.
Yeah.
The studio was in the house, and we would he'd have something going, and then we would collaborate, and it was super fun. It was
Yeah.
super fun.
I just recently realized that was not just your writing and your pen, but your voice on one of my favorite Usher songs. Can you handle it?
Yes.
I was like,
Crazy.
Paula Patton was singing that.
They needed a female voice. I happened to be in the house, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And thank you, auto-tunes.
All those times I was in the mood, I didn't even know Paula Patton was talking to me.
Okay,
You know
no,
what I
she
mean?
wasn't. But are you
Come on,
also-
Kyle, can you handle it?
You see what I'm saying? Look, okay, our interview about to go off the rails.
No. But you're also about to do a musical? Is that
I
something?
did it
that
already.
Oh, you
Yes, I did a
already?
movie that's a musical with Joe McHale. It was so great because I actually sang in it and I had to play piano. So I
No
got to start
way.
learning piano, which
Fire.
was really incredible.
It's giving you might as well put an album out now.
Right.
You ain't got to write with nobody
L'Oreal,
else.
I don't
Come
know.
on now, let's do it.
We'll see about
You
that.
don't think you can do that? You got your son who also sings.
He's incredible.
Right.
See, when you have great talent like Robin and my son,
Yeah.
like I can't sing like they can sing. Like they are really just tremendous talent.
Yeah.
I read that he
Yeah.
wants to follow in your footsteps, though.
My son?
Yeah, what does that mean for him to want to follow? Does that mean more acting than music? What does that mean?
You know what? No, my son absolutely is going to be a singer. You're
Singer,
going
yeah.
to be hearing his music, but he also loves to direct. So he is definitely he's like, Mom, can I be a singer and a director? I was like, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So in that way, because he knows that's my journey. That's what's next for me is directing.
Okay.
And I went to USC Film School. I always thought I would be a filmmaker, and
Wow.
life took me down a different path. And I'm the actress that you see in front of you, but that's where I'm going next. And so that's what he wants. And I think that's what he means when he follows in my
Gotcha.
footsteps.
Obviously, he can take any role that he wants, right? Because he has such a great inspiration in front of him.
Oh.
Did you have any pointers that you might have gotten on set from Loretta Devine, who has been in this game and I know you worked with so many legends, but obviously she's one of them ones.
Oh gosh, she's not a legend. Loretta's amazing. We were so lucky to get Loretta, because we work together on Jumping the Broom.
Yes.
And so she's like the woman that likes to hate me in
Right.
the movies.
It's true.
But you know what is this is a testimony to what a legend she is and how she makes scenes better, is because we did the scene in the movie where it was supposed to end a certain way, but she didn't end it that way, and because of it forced a greater performance, and she showed me and reminded me how important it is to let go to the art. Do you know what I mean? You might see something on the script, how it's scripted, but you should do what feels right.
Yeah.
And you should always have the freedom to improvise and do what feels right. And so
Yeah.
that's how she inspired me.
Yeah.
I use her name all the time, and I'm going to tell you how. My phone is set up as Loretta Devine. So when you can airdrop people?
Yeah.
Somebody one day was like, hey, Loretta Devine's in here. And I was like, that's my fault.
That's funny.
Do you have any aliases that you used to use or tell people like when they come up to you?
Oh my God, what was my alias? I mean, I can't tell you my alias.
No,
can
we're
I?
not telling you
But
now,
actually, you know
but
what? I
maybe-
had an alias when I was writing music with Robin. I didn't want people to know that I was like his girl writing, and so my name was Max Haddington. So whenever you see all of the writing credits on his albums, they'll be like, "We don't see Paula here." It was Max Haddington,
Which sounds like a writer, but where did you come up with that?
Yeah. So Max, my middle name is Maxine.
Okay.
So I took
So
Max,
that's-
and the street I grew up on was Haddington.
Oh my God, very creative.
You mentioned perfect match that you did with Loretta. TJ.
No, not jumping the broom.
Jumping the broom.
Yeah.
Sorry. But you also did perfect match.
I did.
And I know that you got to have some sort of love and support for what Cassie is going through right now, because she was a co-star in the movie with you.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, listen, isn't it just what's amazing is that everything comes to light. And that when you think that there might not be justice, it comes around, because I can't even imagine what she endured.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible number of infinity.
Yes.
Okay, number 8. We thought you were going to be a part of it. What happened?
You know what? I think that each time they pick somebody new sometimes, and I was meant to be in 4. That was my magic number.
We don't want new. We want you.
Lori, I love you.
Yeah,
it was an incredible experience. I had just had my son. I never thought I was going to be in Mission Impossible. I remember they asked me to audition for it, and I was like, I'm not auditioning for this. This is like a waste of my time, you guys, please. And they're like, no, you got to go. And finally, I went to the audition, and then I got it.
With that movie, though, in particular, with Tom Cruise, and everybody talks about how amazing he is doing his own stunts and those kind of things, was there anything that you may have learned or witnessed that was like, yo, this is incredible? Like, I can't believe I'm actually seeing this on this set.
He's incredible. First of all, that man is just such a kind man, and he remembers everybody's name, but not only that, but they're like history in their family. Like, you can't imagine everywhere he went, even when he went to promote the movie all over the world, he would be like, hey, how's your son? He's going to college. And you're just like, what? So he was just all engaged, super present, but he is a testimony to what it is to be fearless. You know, like I was in that tall building in Dubai, the Burj Khalifa, and he was literally out the window. I mean, so many stories up, you can't imagine. He's like, hey, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? So, like, when you're like, I can't do it, you can just think of Tom, and you're like, maybe you can.
Right. Has there ever been a stunt that you were like, all right, I'm going to make it happen because I seen Tom do it. I can do something like this.
Well, gosh, I mean, when I was doing the movie, that was probably the
Those
time.
stunts in that movie.
But you know what? Actually, when I was doing World of Warcraft, we had to do some stunts on the horse. And because I had done Mission and seen Tom, I always was like, I can do it. Let me do it.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
No. I would have been just watching. Did he ever try to get you into Scientology?
No.
Okay, so let's talk about back to the film. At one point, it's a moving on thing. And I feel like we've seen that just now recently with Vanessa Bryant. And everybody thought she was pregnant. And they were attacking her because they were like, what's going on? You know, you're Kobe's wife forever. And it's like, do you feel like at a point when somebody is no longer with us, that there is a time period that they should wait to move on?
Oh, that's a really good question, isn't it? I mean, I think that we have to imagine that our loved ones would want us to keep enjoying our lives, right? And I don't think there should be any time limit on that. I don't think people should suffer while they're here on earth, right? So that you have to like prove something because someone's passed. Now I got to live in this suffering and live in a cloud of grief, because I wouldn't want that when I pass. I don't want anybody that loves me to do that. I've told my son, I go, if God forbid that ever happened, I want you to live in peace and joy. You know what I mean? Right. And so the same thing with love. I can only imagine that Kobe would want her to be happy. And I think that we just have to stop judging folks. Like, I don't know where that comes from. And I think for her, it's to know if they are judging you, it has nothing to do with you. It has only to do with themselves. So there's nothing to speak on except for their own pain or whatever they need to figure out in themselves. It has nothing to do with Vanessa.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, let people move on. It's like you want her to suffer and live in that space forever. It's just not right. Because if you do, you'll end up in a bad place if you end up in that hurt forever.
Right.
And nobody wants that. God doesn't want that.
No.
I read something that I thought was kind of cool. Speaking of you moving on, just from your relationship, obviously nobody passed away. Now you talked earlier about being in your relationship with Robin at 15. So I read that, with you being in the relationship with him, your first love at 15, then you went from your parents' house to living with him.
Yeah.
So when you guys finally separated and you did your own thing, you finally felt like, okay, I'm a real woman now. And it made me think like, okay, because I have daughters that are at that younger age, and would I support them being that young, getting into a serious relationship and married? Or would I say, nah, don't do that. You should date around a little bit more and then maybe find somebody later in life? Like, being that you went through that experience, what would you suggest for people? Like,
I wouldn't change a thing.
Really?
And I don't think that we should really tell our children to do that much, to be honest with you, because we have to let people live their own lives. And everything worked out perfectly because, see, I really believe that all the twists and turns and the potholes and the ups and the downs, that's what makes you the human being you are. And everybody's path is different. And so we have to let them, when we try to manipulate that path and tell them they got to be this way or got to be that way, then you're going to get all this resistant, people going to be angry.
Not necessarily
Look at
that
like a
much.
dad with a daughter.
Yeah, not
They're
so
going to
much.
do it my way, God dang it.
Exactly.
Not so much.
That's what it's giving.
Not so much that, but I mean, I think the conversation goes to, do you really know what you want if you haven't had certain experiences?
I know.
Yet,
you know what? But everybody's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I couldn't have done it any other way. It was meant to be.
Yeah,
we were deeply in love and we were meant to go on that path. If someone had told me no, you got to do this and I'm going to, or cut you off unless you do it that way.
Right.
We might have still found our way back to each other.
I feel
right?
that.
Whatever's meant to happen, happens.
That's what's going to happen. I feel that.
So love now, what does that look like for you?
Oh gosh, I mean, I love so many things, so many people.
I love that.
You have no idea.
You have no idea.
I know at one point you I don't know what's going on now, but I know at one point you got you a younger man, okay? How is that, dating somebody that's just a little younger with the stamina and all that good stuff?
My goodness.
Did it youngin you up a little bit?
I mean, a young spirit is always a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Because I mean, there's what's the age that you would, because I know in the 20s or late 20s.
I don't know. 20s would be quite young.
That's too
right?
young.
I think that would be a bit young.
Because who can shoot their shot?
I mean, listen, I'm open. I'm open to all ages.
Because I feel like the younger ones be on you. I see your comments. I know you see them too. And I know those DMs are crazy. So and I can't imagine it be the older men really shooting their shot. I feel like it's the younger ones on you.
I mean, I don't know how to answer that question, L'Oreal. What do you want me to say?
The basketball players and all that. Do you be like, do you check out the page back? Just be honest.
I don't do that.
Okay.
But yeah, girl, you stumped me on that one.
I love it.
You stumped me on that one.
I love that you're blushing.
That was funny, right?
Come on in. Come in
Man,
hot.
listen. Paula Patton in the building. Make sure y'all go support the movie Finding Faith in theaters only.
June 16th
That's
and
right.
17th. Please come out and support.
I love
And if
that.
you want people to follow you and send those DMs, how can they hit you on Instagram?
Paula Patton Official.
Yeah, come on, the YN. Look, not you out there.
No, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate you. Your spirit is amazing.
Yeah,
and we wish you the best, man, and everything that you got going on.
Thank you.
for
I really
sure.
appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Paula
Thank you so
Patton,
much.
Morning Hustle Show. Y'all
She's
know
coming out with an album, y'all. Can't wait.
We are the Morning Hustle.